the four corners now. Four corners, which originally used to be called just GCBA. And those are the four corners. The first one, start at the bottom, it's grounding. Beyond that is center, or centering, balance, and alignment. Four corners, 4 points of a compass, and 4 aspects of a tree. Okay, so with grounding, we get our roots. Our roots tie us to the past. So anything that we have built up on from the past, it's going to go into our foundation. Okay, the center is our center point, and it's where we expand out from. Okay, it's the present. It's what I refer to as the trunk of the tree. Okay, so we move from our roots to the trunk. So from our trunk, based on what we're experiencing in our foundation, that is what we're expanding more into, and it's also what we're surrounded by. Okay, so this becomes our fixed reality. Everything that's happened in our past, everything that we're holding on to, that we're rooted in still, is going to be our center point from where we're going to expand from and what we're going to expand out into. Our balance is the life force of the tree. Okay, now this is the yin and the yang. So present, what we're doing now, yin, yang. Okay, receive and give. So basically everything that we're rooted in, everything that we're grounded in, we're expanding out into and we are expanding from. This is what sets us up for what we have to receive and what we have to give. Okay, so if we have an attitude of, well, every time I get in a relationship or any kind of job I get, I always get this. And so it becomes a rooted expectation of what we're going to receive, and then we get surprised that that's what we keep getting. And so based on what we receive, this is what we have to give. So this basically defines our life. Our past, what we're rooted in, what we're holding on to. If we're holding on to memories, if we're holding on to attitudes, if we're holding on to concepts, the way we look at our past, the way we see the people in our past, whatever we're holding on to, that becomes the foundation for our center, and that center is in turn a foundation for our balance, what we're balanced with. Now, as a receiver and a giver, there's a lot of people who say, well, I'm a giver. I can't receive. Well, look to your past. Where did you form that first opinion about receiving? Where did you form that opinion about just being a giver? Was it because mom was just a giver? Was it because dad was just a giver? Or was it based on stuff that you received and the way that you received it? Okay. So these are really important aspects in our lives. Alignment. This is the future. These are the branches of the tree. Okay, future, right there. Alright, and this is where we extend from. Okay, we branch out into the future. We root in our past, our trunk is in the present, our balance is in the present, our branches reach always out to the future. And that's the basics of the four corners. How to apply this in your life? You look at your grounding. You know, you look at any building, you look at any tree, you're going to see the strength of that building, you're going to see the strength of that tree in the roots of its foundation. And We always build from the ground up. You know, you look at a pyramid. Where is it strongest? At the foundation, right there. And that's where we need to be strong. We need to look to our roots. We need to look to our past. Start dealing with the stuff instead of trying to avoid it, trying to convince ourselves that we figured it out, that we resolved it. Because if it's on your mind, it's in your way. If it comes up as a memory, guess what? It's influencing you on some level in some way. You go into your computer, you see a file, you see something that you downloaded. If you can find it on your computer, guess what? It's affecting your computer. It's influencing your computer. The same thing with us. If we can see it in our mind, if we have an attachment to it emotionally, it's affecting us. Whether we want to admit it or not, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, it's affecting us, and it's messing with our center. Our center, it's where we're coming from. Okay, when we're solid with ourselves, when we're solid in our roots, our center is solid. And from that, we can expand out into greater things, better things. But if our foundation is weak, we don't have that strength supporting us to move out into that greater center. It's not going to happen. It's not the way nature works. It's not the way we work. And we are nature. Whether we like it or not, we are nature. We're a part of nature. We're an extension and expression of nature. Balance, receiving, giving. Start look at what you're giving, what you're putting out there, what you're expressing, and start looking at what you're receiving from others around you. Because that is going to show you more of what's in your foundation, and it can lead you to things in your past that you still haven't resolved, still haven't come to understand. Once we understand something, like the cosmic body, once we have that universal experience of understanding, we're done. We move on to the next level, we graduate. But until we get that understanding, we're going to keep recycling that same experience over and over and over until we're able to understand it completely and go, okay, I get it now. I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to be with that person. I don't have to have that same job. I don't have to keep driving the same car. I don't have to keep making the same kind of money. We understand the mechanics of that experience to the point where we just don't have to do it anymore. Okay, so our balance is based on what am I receiving, what am I giving. When we give too much, we're out of balance. When we receive too much, we're out of balance. The people at the top that aren't sharing what they have, they're out of balance because it's receive, 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 receive. They're not giving. They're creating imbalance in the universe. They're creating imbalance in nature. And in time, it's going to take its toll. May not be now, may not be within a short period of time, but eventually, this pyramid will crumble. So that's balance. Be mindful of your balance. See how you're balanced. See what you're balanced by. What am I receiving? What am I giving? How am I receiving it? How am I giving it? You know, am I receiving it with a sense of gratitude and appreciation? Am I giving with a sense of gratitude and appreciation? Key factors. Now the alignment, the extension. Where am I going? Which direction? And is this the direction that I really want to be going to? We need to check our alignment. If things are not happening the way we want them to, what's the alignment? What am I aligned with? Now, if our alignment is pure, what it's saying is just stay with it. Don't try to make it something that it's not. These are the steps that you need to take to get from point A to point B. You're aligned. If you're out of alignment, if you're up here and you need to be down here to go here, then it's saying something is wrong with your balance. Something is wrong with your center. Something is wrong with your grounding. Something is off. Okay? And it could be an attitude that you have in regards to what you want, based on what you're receiving, how you're receiving it, what you're giving, how you're giving it, where you're expanding from, what you're expanding out into, and where you're rooted in. You know, a lot of people can be rooted in a very negative attitude, but not realize it until they start getting things that mirror that negative attitude. And that's when we get upset. That's when we get angry. That's when we become frustrated. So this is GCBA and the Four Corners.